Hello there, fellow humans. I'm here pushing myself today to do video number 1. I received encouragement from a strange place, a woman by the name of Victoria Jazwic. I'll try to leave a link in the description below to the video, Wounded Healer. You want to look that up. I'm not scripted, but if you look at the description on the main channel page, you'll get a better idea of who I am and why I want to do this. And I want to make the statement that my intention here is to share anything and everything with those other individuals who resonate with it. If you're not feeling it, if you don't like my style or whatever, that's fine. Please be polite. Positive reflections are good. Take what works and leave the rest. So, very cold day here for October the 17th. And the reason for the glasses is because I want what I desire to share to be about the content and not about me. So, I may or may not, when I record these videos in the future, feature myself in the video. It's just for today. But it's very windy here where I live in Chicago. So it's forced me kind of to stay a bit more in the house today. But it was on a brisk walk this afternoon that I realized that I finally need to force myself to do this. And Victoria's video outlines it, and everybody else said. I want to start with where I'm at right now. And I guess over time I'm going to share a backwards history and anything from life that could possibly benefit anybody else. So I've been through the last 4 months of a breakup that I initiated. And I finally received the impulse inside that I was done yesterday morning, and there was a shift. I was done with grieving and the process, my process. I'm not going to judge myself, and I don't encourage anybody else. Your grieving process is your grieving process, whatever it is, as long as you're not harming yourself or somebody else. But if you're angry, you're angry. If you're hurt, you're hurt. If you're sad or depressed, you're sad or depressed. It's as unique as we are individuals. But the piece in all of this that I wanted to share is not so much about the breakup. It's about statements that need to be made. I consider myself to be a highly intuitive, highly spiritual person. I've studied, sat with many different groups of people, the Buddhists, Kabbalists, metaphysical churches, New Thought, ancient wisdom, all of it. I'm a self-taught didactic. So I wanted to learn these things. It was not a linear journey. It was intuitive and when things could happen. And what I find is that with highly spiritual people, there seems to be, or people who want to be in the spiritual communities, there seems to be that there's this threshold of things that can't be spoken about. My ex-boyfriend actually was in an ET group, but the women in the group wouldn't allow in conversation when the intimacies and it wasn't even boundaries, it was unhealthy fears, irrational fears. And so anything that bordered, he would say to me, anything that bordered on the line of something that involved our sexual nature and behavior, that realm of our behavior as human beings, it was immediately shut down and shot. I don't believe that. I don't believe in doing that. I believe that there's an appropriate time and place to talk about everything that pertains to being a human being. I don't believe our Creator judges us. We judge ourselves. I believe that's the truth there on that matter. But there are certain things like the sky is blue and water is water, and I'm more into what's natural. I don't believe that anything is normal. I've worked in the labor business and placing people on jobs, and I learned from that human beings are amazingly unpredictable, and some of the things that I witnessed, just, again, not judging. If a human being can think it, they'll do it, right? Or many people think it and they don't do it. And there's just lines and boundaries with all that stuff. So I want to clarify how I feel on a certain matter because I feel I need to get this out. My ex-boyfriend is a massage therapist. During the more than 2 years that we were together, I asked many, many times. It began with conversations where I opened up and I said, I bet you the guys are always trying to push for sexual favors. He did talk about that, said yes, admitted that in the past there were with boundaries. I won't go into all the gory details on it. And I accepted that. But during the entire 25 months that I felt we were together, my spidey sense was always tingling. And I asked again, and the answer was still kind of the same, but my spidey sense was still tingling. There was a reaction. When people have reactions, that's your sign, folks. A reaction. As if we got too close to the matter. So it was a learning process for me too. I walked away from it and left it alone. Then towards the end, I realized that I was being neglected physically, emotionally, sexually, and true intimacy was not happening. So that's when I decided to push on it, maybe not in the most gentle way. I could care less if people think that when they hear me sometimes, it sounds combative. That is their opinion. It could be passionate. And I'm a sensitive person. There's just a lot of people out there who would much rather have things all painted real with butterflies and rainbow farts and all that stuff. It's the same crowd that buy into all these things, and man, am I going to lay it on all of you. You're like owning the terms gay, owning millennial. These are all ways to categorize and to divide us. But this bunch, this young, highly sensitive bunch that came in, and I believe that they are indigos and crystals. Look that up. I don't use Google. Don't use Google. I'm only putting this out here because this is the venue where it's going to get heard. I will be putting these videos on Rumble. They just want to lay on the sofa in their onesie with their strawberry milk, watching their Teletubbies, and then scream at the rest of the world and hate on anybody else because the power went out and now they can't watch TV and their milk is spoiling. Those bad people. Those bad people. Why did they do that? Now I can't just, be comfortable and waste away. So everybody else is bad when they speak their truth. But My ex attempted to convince me in a conversation recently during, I was very emotional and traumatized to learn that after I broke up with him, he had moved on very quickly, and the story that he told me was exactly what I figured would happen, is that either I pushed on it or I waited around and he would just get a wild hair up his butt and happen to meet somebody else, and then just decide to tell me after the fact that, oh, I don't feel like I want to be in our relationship anymore. This was nice, this whole fake nice stuff. I have no tolerance for it. In these conversations, since you're all excited about having met this new person with the same name as me, owning up to wanting to be wined and dined and have all the material things, well, who doesn't like that stuff? But to tell me to confess that I am getting naked and having sexual contact, it's therapeutic with my clients. I don't agree. Not when you have a neglected boyfriend at home. Your partner needs to be fulfilled first. If you have an agreement with your partner that you are going to, with boundaries and a framework, provide some sort of therapeutic sexual massage to even just one client, then you have an obligation as a decent human being to simply ask the person across from you, are you okay with this? And this is what I'll do. I don't know if anybody knows this out there, but you can pick up chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis just by touching another person's armpit. I don't know the full details of that. You look it up yourselves. I'm just here to tell you. Now, there's drugs and stuff to treat all that stuff out there, but still. I know these other men who like to go by gay. I go by homosexual. I'm homo. I have a vibration. I'm a male who vibrates with other masculine type men. That is my nature. I've never been with a woman. Don't want to be. Have nothing against women. So at any rate, that is my rub. And for my partner now to tell me that he gets naked for the client, they get to put a hand on, there's boundaries, this, that, or the other thing, that means that I work with energy too. That means you're getting something out of it. It's doing something to your own ego. It's not just some altruistic act. If you were to have your clothes on completely and be using surgical gloves, giving your male clients, bringing them to sexual fulfillment, and they were not allowed to touch you, to me, that is about where therapeutic is. And then to lie and say that you feel traumatized because you're 20 years as a massage therapist, you're constantly being barraged with requests for sexual favors from your male clients. Well, you're not strong enough to establish a boundary if you don't want to do it. But then, to top it all off, a client that you didn't like before now comes along all of a sudden, and it's okay to date the client. That's your dating pool. I don't understand the message. For me, that sends a whole lot of messages. So I just need to say that I disagree with all of this. I'm not a hater. That's not being judgmental. That's me making a healthy judgment for myself. I feel where the betrayal was, where the crime is that when I asked, I should have just been told the truth. I'm a big boy, and I should have been allowed to make that decision for myself. And for a person who hates to be forced or feel like they're being forced by anyone in the world to do anything they're not wanting to do or not ready to do, to force that on a loving partner, to force the choice, that's not a kind, good person. That's a selfish person. So I'm going to end with that. So self-mastery is having control and integrity over yourself. We're not perfect. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I was able to control myself enough through my relationship with my partner when there were me offering now all of a sudden I'm getting reflections of myself, is what he's telling me. But when I was offering reflections, there was all this reactive behavior. And what I learned from sitting with the Kabbalists was that we are to root out our negativity and our reactive nature. Ego is not a bad thing. Ego just needs to be reined in and controlled. Recognized that it can get out of control. Like a Leo show-off playboy. So, I hope there somehow is something useful in all of this. And just getting it out right now feels so much better. I hope that everyone out there is finding their way. I think that's it for today. I have so much. I'm keeping notes of the things that are coming to mind, and I hope that if you see this video, you'll maybe consider leaving a kind comment. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one, and most of them are dirty and stinky. Farts and poop come out, and diarrhea. So, but if you want to leave something thoughtful, or share an experience to help other people maybe avoid or not be like this, I'd appreciate that. So, Avion-Marie. God bless you. Namaste.